welcome to my channel. My name is Tess and today we are going to talk about cross stitch as most of my videos. It is July 31st, so there may be a couple of stitches missing from my July stitching. I don't plan on stitching tonight, but anything can happen. The reason I am recording today instead of tomorrow like I normally would, I have the house to myself and that's pretty rare, so I'm going to take advantage of that so I don't have to worry about noise and nonsense. And yeah, so there may be a couple of stitches missing. Honestly, I don't think there is, but let's get into it because you don't care anyway. First up, I would like to say a huge thank you. I have had a massive bump in subscribers recently. I have only just celebrated my 500 subscribers, and I think last I checked I was about 635. I did thank everyone and put a bit of a call out in my Stitch With Me, but I know not everyone watches those, so if you could and you're new, can you let me know in the comments how you found me? I would hate to miss a shout out and not be able to thank them if you've come from another channel. So that being said, let's get into it. This month, as last month, was pretty low stitching wise. Work still hasn't settled down. I can't see it doing that for another couple of months at least, but that's okay. I am still loving it. Still in the organisation hole. I will share a little bit of what I've done with that later. But as for the stitching, in July I stitched 5,478 stitches. So not tiny, but definitely not great. Anyway, first up, as always, I've got Haystack Sunset by Jeff Pritchard, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Here is a photo of what it will look like when it is done, and here it was last time. While I was looking for the push pins to show you where I'm up to now, Luna decided to come over and say hello. So I will give her her little cuddles, otherwise I won't hear the end of it for the rest of the video. Hopefully this will be enough. You want to say hello to everyone? Can you hear yourself? Anyway, in the month of July, I put in 738 stitches into Haystack. Can I put you down now to show? Thank you, baby. I did not end up finding my push pins, which is annoying because they have a home and they are not where they should be. But this is where I am now. Yeah, no. It's not full enough to deserve the board. Good intentions, and it's too unwieldy and big, and let's just fold it up and share. So this is where I'm at now. Again, not a lot. I think I'd done most of this last month, but I'm slowly working in. You can kind of see that I don't actually know where to go in the chart. It's almost fully purple without being fully purple. So I kind of go across the row, but I don't want to have to move the Q-snap to go across, but I don't. It's kind of annoying, and I think because I'm not giving myself the stitching time, I haven't gotten into a rhythm with it, but I'm still absolutely in love and it will get its time again. And here is the comparison photo. Next up, I have Apple Blossom Mini by Marianne Broom. Here is a photo of what it will look like when it's done and where it was last time. So this is or was my work whip. I'll get into that in a minute. I put in 283 stitches, and I'm going to try and show in a way that it's not going to be annoying. And this is where it is now. So I finished the current sort of steps that way, and as I kind of, are you quite right there, baby? As I said last time, I would probably focus on story time, which I did. I didn't alternate as I was planning. If I want any hope of getting it finished soon with my lack of stitching, it's just staying at work. So story time's now my work whip, but this will eventually come out again. I still love the colours, and here is a comparison photo. Next up, I actually have a new start. I started this on the 1st of July. I don't know how well known this challenge is. I first saw it on the Heaven and Earth Designs Facebook page. Danny decided to do a random block a day challenge. I knew I wouldn't be able to do a block a day, so I've sort of chosen to attempt a block a week. So far, I'm just keeping up, but I kind of stupidly picked Once Upon a Time by Amy Stewart, again, Heaven and Earth Designs. It is a max color chart. I love max color, but I should have thought it through that the blocks are going to be stitched completely independently of each other. They can't, like the floss can't be carried because I don't know which direction I'll be going in. I should have picked a better chart. I have been lucky enough, oh sorry, here's a photo of what it will look like when it's done. I have been lucky enough that my blocks are pretty close together considering it's a random, I use Tiny Decisions app with the random number generator. They're pretty close together, but the colors are also kind of boring. Did not think the chart through. I'm trying to decide if I swap or just deal with it. For now, I'm just going to continue because I've got enough whips, it really doesn't matter. You saw on the mock-up, I have cut top 20 squares so you don't have that sort of wooden look shelf, and I also, I think, took 6 stitches off the bottom so it was even blocks all around. Trying to figure out the best way to show where I've stitched. I tried to sort of block it off in Excel, but what the squares showed up on the photo didn't match what I stitched, so I gave up. But anyway, it's down sort of the bottom right corner, and again, I probably should just show you because you don't mind. I have stitched 302 stitches. I kind of went over the feathering, and with 28 count and max color, I was not unpicking them. They need to get stitched eventually. So these are the 3 blocks so far. So this was the first one to be drawn, then I went to that one, and then this one. I believe the next one, because I have already drawn it, I'm doing Thursday through Wednesday with the start of July. I think the next one's up here somewhere, but I haven't looked closely enough to map it out because I like to leave things to the last minute and I've been doing other things. So here's a photo of it, I guess. There's no real comparison yet. That will come next month. Last up for my stitching, as I mentioned earlier, I am doing story time Artwork is by Aruda Art, charted by Gecko Rouge. I put in 4,155 stitches, so I definitely put everything into this. I haven't really been stitching at home. I think I spent one weekend on this. It's mostly work, so it really goes to show how much chipping away at something every day adds up, as you all know. I did have a little bit of a grief with this fabric. It was a kit, as Gecko Rouge does. It was fraying horribly. I thought I was okay with a sewing machine. Like, I'm a bit rusty. It's been a long time since I've properly used one consistently. Trying to hem this fabric was horrible. I had bias binding that I was trying to use. I was trying to use the overlocking stitch. It's not an overlocker, but obviously they have that stitch. In the end, I ended up sort of the double fold, kind of sneak peek, and even then it was a nightmare to do. So do not recommend this fabric. I don't know what it is, but I hope never have to use it again. Anyway, let's keep going. Here's a photo of what it will look like when it's finished and where it was last time you saw it. And this is where it is now. I am so in love. Thank you, Kelly, for kind of unintentionally pressuring me to buy it. I seriously am in love. So I have, as you can see, stitched down to the bottom, just so I knew where I could sort of cut the fabric because it was getting pretty bad. And I didn't want to have a huge amount of excess just so I could hem it. I have also switched to stitching this in a 8x8 instead of my normal 8x11 just to have it a little bit lighter at work. I am finding my wrists are hurting just because they're not used to holding the weight. Like, I use my Lowry a lot. So I think I've almost finished the top. I was working my way down and like completely filling in all of the little bits so I could have everything I need in frame. I've got a little bit over here to do, but as it sits, it can just sit in frame, and I'm really excited to get this done, guys. It is slow going. I miss the grids. I don't like gridding 28 count, which is why I've bought all of the 28 count I've bought has been pre-gridded. I just haven't been able to find anything fine enough that's monofilament that isn't too difficult or too expensive to get here in Australia. I think not having it gridded is slowing me down. So I'm just trying to follow the thread as much as I can, not count too far across because I don't want to be making mistakes and having to unpick it, and I can't leave mistakes. But yeah, I am so happy with this, guys. You will likely see mostly this next month, but even though she's a lot smaller than I expected, I am so in love. I'm not good at spatial awareness, so I knew the dimensions, didn't translate them into actuality until I hit the edge and was surprised. But yeah, absolutely love her. I kind of want to leave actually her until the end just because it's a lot of block stitching and it's nice and mindless. So I am trying to focus on the background, but as I said, I kind of filled in her face just so I can make sure it's in the 8x8, and I would like to hopefully purchase a 6x6 and have that as my work hoop. And I'm kind of wanting to focus on a lot of my smaller ones. Some will be too small and can't fit in a hoop or a Q snap, but I do want to use it more often than not. So yeah, that's all my stitching. I do have a little bit of organising to share with you. Not a lot, nothing exciting. But before I do that, Sandra reached out to me and claimed her prize for the giveaway, and she got 2 Barbara Anna designs from Creative Poppies, I think. I've got the chart names, but I forgot to find out where she bought them from. Should have been prepared. Yes, from Creative Poppy Patterns, she chose Love Never Fails and Santa, the Dove, and the Key, as I said, by Barbara Anna Designs. I will put in photos. I'm so happy that I was able to share the cross-stitching love, and I can't wait to see her updates when she gets around to starting them, which is, I'm pretty happy. So, organising. My brain has not given that up yet. I have come up with my plan of attack for next year. I know it's early, we're only just entering August, but it's about now that I do start thinking, because most of my plans require a lot of prep, and I don't want to leave it to sort of the November when people actually think about it. Otherwise, things just don't get done. So what I've done is I have, as I said in my last video, listed every single one of my whips, and since then I have decided to give them a priority. I love my whips enough that I don't want to get rid of them, so I don't want to UFO any. I think I've dropped 2, but anyway, I don't want to UFO them, but I don't like them enough to want to stitch on them, but then I don't also want them just to sit there not progressing ever. My compromise with my own brain is to give them a priority. They have either low priority, normal priority, high priority, or special priority. In low priority, when I work on it, or this is how to explain this so my brain makes sense to someone else. This kind of allows me to put a goal for the year. So each priority has a different number of stitches. I'm not going to hit my goal this year of touching all my whips, I don't think. Hopefully this will allow me to. At this stage, I think I've only committed myself for 35,000 stitches in the year, which is completely doable. So low priority will get 100 stitches if it's full cross, 150 if it's tent. I know a lot of challenge groups require you to double the amount of stitches with tent. At least when I'm stitching on the couple of whips I've got, I don't find it goes doubly as quickly, so that's why I'm sort of only going half again. So normal priority will get at least 200 stitches full cross, 300 tent. High priority will get 500 stitches full cross or 750 stitches tent. And then the special priority, it has individual goals. So these are things like, I'm hoping this doesn't make it through to next year, but I'm showing this first because this is my oldest whip. PhD in Cross Stitch by Emma Condon, Stitcherovia. My special priority for this is to get a finish. So it doesn't have a stitch count involved, it is just, I want this to be a finish. And then I've got a couple of, actually quite a few finishes, I maybe should revisit that. Then I've got like the motherhood charts for my niece and nephews. I want to do 1,500 stitches on each of those. Fairy bubbles, I want to do 10,000 stitches. Haystack, I'd like to get back into doing 1,000 stitches a month. So things like that are sort of where they are. And because I love my gadgets, I have put together a whip wheel, and color-coded. So this is my whips so far for the year, or what I have at the moment. Got them beautifully color-coded. As you can see, there aren't many reds, so I've tried to be pretty realistic with my goals. The reds are the 500 stitches, and then there's actually quite a few purple special priority, but I can revisit these. It's only August, not even that really. And as for starts, because originally I was going to start all the things, at this stage I think I'm limiting myself to 5 starts. But if I get a finish, that gives me a free start. Maybe. Plans are fluid. I can go through my starts sort of, I guess, closer to the end of the year. So they will be added to the wheel. I will give them whatever priority I want. I am planning on making a few starts in the end of this year. They'll figure out their goal and get added. I don't know whether I'm going to use the wheel exclusively to spin to figure out what I'm working on. I am part of a couple of challenge groups, so I want to try and use those as much as possible to touch a range of my whips, again, because I sort of tend to stitch on the same ones again and again. Yeah, I think that's it. I probably went into far too much detail considering this isn't my 2022 plans video, but I'm pretty excited that I've finally been able to put a realistic stitch goal together for myself, and that's a pretty big deal. Last up, I will share what's kept most of my time when it hasn't been sleep or TikTok. I think I showed you last month my thread drops for Apple Blossom. I bought a 100 pack of cardboard and I have done the first punch. So this isn't even all of them. Punch is quite a bit louder than I expected. But yeah, it's a multi-step process. So I've done this one with the normal punch, and then at this point you would think I would be more organized. There it is. I'm popping in the bigger hole at the moment, and this is how many of those I've done. And then after that I've got one more hole to make, which is the, I guess, smaller hole at top that the actual ring goes through. I have kept aside, I think it was 120 tags that I'm not going to punch for floss, because I realized, because when I started kitting up once upon a time, because again, max color, stupid, for me to be able to keep up, I'm going to need it kitted. On Apple Blossom, if you can see, I put the chart name as well as the thread color. I was not going to write once upon a time quick stitch max color, or QSMC, 240 times. This is just not going to happen. So I have slightly tweaked my way of doing it. And so what I'm going to do is have a label. So it's once upon a time, quick stitch match color, max color, and then after that is just the DMC number. I'm not sure how well these are going to hold up to use, but theoretically, if I finish a whip, I could reuse the tags if I've just got the number on them and not the name as well. So yes, I've kept 120 aside. I have, I think, 70 to 80 whips at the moment, so that gives me plenty of room to start new ones. I don't know if all of these tags will be enough for all of my whips or whether I will have to purchase more cardboard. It's likely I'll have to purchase more cardboard. As I said, I'm a fan of the max color. So yeah, I think that's it, guys. I haven't done winding like I was planning on. I bought the cardboard and it was kind of irritating me because it was big and in the way, and I wanted that done. So yeah, I have been rambling for a really long time. I am sorry. I will edit this to make as much sense as possible. My plans for August: story time, obviously, haystack, that goes without saying. I would like to have Once Upon a Time kitted just so I can keep working that challenge, because I am having to use my DMC set at home and I just don't get enough stitching time at home. Unless I did it now. I do have like an entire night. I might do it tonight. Anyway, I am just going to keep organising, keep working through things and get as much stitching as I can. If you've got any questions for me, please leave them down below. I am struggling a little bit to know what to talk about with my Stitch With Me's, but I want to keep those going. So thank you all for spending time with me, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.